This is the liberal World Economic Forum Coalition's vision of progress. No mobility, no meritocracy, and no way out. You're stuck where you were born, and your children are too, unless you happen to be born into property-owning wealth. Canada in 2040. Gated communities for the rich, class-based dating apps for the lonely, AI for everything. And you, well, you'll be lucky if you can illegally catch a fish just to feed your kids. Don't take it from me, take it from Policy Horizons Canada, the Privy Council's in-house think tank. Their latest foresight brief, quietly dropped on a Saturday, it's called Future Lives, Social Mobility in Question, but it reads more like a eulogy for the Canadian dream than anything else. And this thing was written in January 2025, before current Prime Minister Mark Carney promised to spend $100 billion more than his idiot predecessor, Justin Trudeau. Now, here's how the bureaucrats describe your plausible future. In 2040, people rarely mix with others of different socioeconomic status. Algorithmic dating apps filter by class. Gated metaverses, like real life, offer few opportunities to meet people from different backgrounds. Class-based dating apps, gated metaverses, this isn't science fiction, it's state-sanctioned social engineering. The rich will be swiping right on each other from behind digital fences, while the rest of us are told to be content living in pods in 15-minute cities, while everything you need is rationed, tracked, and taxed based on your social and carbon credit score. And what about your job? Just gone. Replaced by AI unless you can afford to buy a better AI assistant. Look at this. In 2040, the value of human labor has shrunk because of AI. The best AI assistants are expensive. This reinforces structural inequities. So the government's own report is admitting that big tech will price you out of your own economy while the elites use smarter machines to hoard even more wealth and power. And if you're thinking of upgrading your skills just to stay competitive, think again. From the same report. Post-secondary education is no longer considered a reliable path to social mobility. Tuition and housing costs exclude all but the wealthy. Now, if you're hoping your university degree that you have now will save you, fewer people choose post-secondary education. Those who do see it less as a path to a successful career than a way to reinforce their membership in the elite. So it's not even about learning anymore, it's about class signaling. Universities become expensive clubhouses for the kids of politicians and corporate executives, while your kids' side hustle becomes their survival strategy. And while the equity crowd likes to chirp about land acknowledgements and systemic injustice, this same government is predicting an actual return to aristocracy. That's their word, not mine. Look, people see inheritance as the only reliable way to get ahead. Society increasingly resembles an aristocracy. This is the liberal World Economic Forum Coalition's vision of progress. No mobility, no meritocracy, and no way out. You're stuck where you were born, and your children are too, unless you happen to be born into property-owning wealth. And what happens when you can't make ends meet? People may start to hunt, fish, and forage on public lands and waterways without reference to regulations. So after regulating farmers out of business and inflating food prices through the roof, the government admits people will be forced into illegal subsistence hunting like it's the Hunger Games. That's not just collapse, that's planned collapse. Oh, and while you're trying to survive, the rich get to retreat to their safe enclaves. A growing percentage of homeowners also own rental properties. They oppose policies to expand the housing supply or freeze rents. Inequality between those who rent and those who own has become a key driver of social, economic, and political conflict. So the liberal donor class buys up all the houses, rents them back to you at inflated rates, and then lobbies against solutions like more supply. They're not just failing to fix the housing crisis, they're going to profit from it. There's more. Owning a home is not a realistic goal for many. Most new homeowners get help from family members. Some take out intergenerational mortgages. Others enter alternative household mortgages with friends. That's right. They predict group mortgages with your friends in your 300 square foot Brookfield modular home pod, multi-generational debt shackles, and couch surfing till your parents die. That's not a housing plan, that's a hostage situation. And this is not a warning from the resistance. This is the Privy Council Office under Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and now Mark Carney laying the groundwork for the end of Canadian upward mobility. So don't be fooled by their buzzwords, resilience, equity, sustainability. What they really mean is, well, you'll own nothing, you'll rent from us, and you know the line, you'll be happy. This isn't inevitable. It's not fate. It's the direct result of terrible policies, elitist ideology, and a political class that thinks managing your decline is more realistic than getting out of the way so you can build a future. But let's not stop at class-based dating apps and AI overlords. This report has layers like a rotten onion of failed policies, elite entitlements, and taxpayer-funded predictions of your misery. It gets worse. They predict mass emigration, not just of talent, but of hope itself. More people in Canada, including recent immigrants, may emigrate to jurisdictions where they perceive upward social mobility and or higher standards of living are easier to attain. In other words, the same people the government claims it's bringing here for growth will flee once they realize they've been sold a lie. Now brace yourself, because the mental health toll of this future dystopia is fully spelled out in the report too. Frustration could leave many people deeply unhappy with negative consequences for their family and loved ones. Fewer people may have the psychological resources to volunteer and help others. People may reject the state's legitimacy, leading to higher rates of tax evasion or other forms of civil disobedience. Imagine writing a government report that predicts Canadians will stop paying their taxes, stop believing in their country, and start hunting wild animals in city parks just to survive, and then not immediately resigning in shame. But no, these people don't offer a single concrete solution. It's just vague suggestions that Canadians might redefine success as not starving and find fulfillment in co-op gardens and community potlucks. And here's the clincher. People could lose the drive to better themselves and their communities. Others might embrace radical ideas about restructuring the state, society, and the economy. Radical ideas? Sister, we're already here. This report doesn't warn of a coming crisis. It documents the one this government helped to create. And now they want to position themselves as the enlightened futurists who foresaw it all after they bulldozed the path to get us here. Let me say this clearly. This is not governance. This is managed decline, and they know it. The liberal elites, backed by Mark Carney's WEF, UN-style globalist ideology, are using foresight reports like this one to justify the dystopia they're already building for us. They say we may lose faith in the Canadian project. But what project? If the dream is dead, if the ladder's broken, if your kids can't climb out of the hole, if they can't afford a house, a degree, or even groceries, then what is left to believe in? Well, I'll tell you what. The real Canada, the one built on self-reliance, faith, freedom, community, and hard work. The one that existed before bureaucrats started handing over your future to AI models, unelected consultants, and UN talking points. If we don't fight for that Canada, then no one will. Because these people aren't planning to save Canada, they're just planning to manage its burial. I'm here to remind you that the very people predicting the collapse from their Ottawa cubicles are not prophets. They're the ones lighting the match. It's time we took the matches away. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn-Reid. If you'd like to support our coverage of the election campaign, one that I think is absolutely pivotal for the future of Confederation, please go to campaign2025.com.